So I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt that I didn't pull this out for like the introduction video for this, because it's just so fitting. So this is the only coffee tumbler that I will be drinking out of for these update videos. Like, how perfect is that? Hey guys, thanks for coming back to check out another video. So we're filming in straight natural lighting today, so if it comes in and out, then I'm sorry. Like, it's a little bit of a partly cloudy day, but the sun is coming in through the kitchen window, and so it's too much to have the ring light on as well. But anyway, you're not here to hear about my lighting struggles. You were here for the first update to the Graveyard Projectpan. So this was of course created by Emily, or emilynmax is her YouTube channel. I will of course have her listed down below, as well as like any community related like playlists or documents or things like that. That way you can easily find everyone else who is participating in this and you can go check them out. So this project started on April 30th. It has 2 updates, one today, well not today, one on June 30th. Jappy, you don't need to be losing it. One on June 30th, which is tomorrow, and then one on August 31st, and then it ends on Halloween, October 31st. That's the best day of the year, in my opinion. But it is centered around a Halloween theme with 2 categories. Now, Emily's not a stickler for like rules, so I don't think there's like a fine and set number of how many items you can have in. I personally have 6, 3 in one category and 3 in the other. So the 2 categories, you have your resurrection items, which are items that you had been working on previously. Maybe you hit your goal or maybe you didn't, and so now's a good time to roll it in and hopefully either hit your original goal or finish it off. I feel like with this particular category, a lot of people tend to roll in those items where their original goal was to finish them off and they weren't able to, so now they can roll them in here and actually get them used up and out of their lives, which is great. And then the other category is collecting cobwebs. So that is things, it could either be like the oldest of whatever in your collection, or just something that you don't reach for all that often and you need to dust the dust off of it. Dust the dust off of it. That's just a weird sentence. But you get my point. So like I said, I have 3 for each category. We are just going to get on into it. I have them written down on my list and we're just going to go in that order, starting with our resurrection items. Also, I don't know if I need to keep saying this, I've been pretty consistent in all of my update videos, just leaving like the total usage on the screen for you guys. I feel like that really helps to just streamline and make these videos not be super long. So I'm going to continue to do that, but without any further rambling, we are going to talk about our first resurrection item, which is my theBalm How About Them Apples palette. This is the product that really made me want to join in on this year. You know, I worked on this all of 2020 in Partners in Cream. Yeah, I think that was the year. Either way, I worked on it all that year, and my goal was to finish off the 4 remaining pans of blush that I had. I did not quite meet that goal. I still have one hanging out. He's still hanging out. My goal is to hopefully finish it off this month. It is my only cream blush that I'm focusing on right now. It is the shade Crisp. And as you can see from like how it's looking now in comparison to the photo, I think we've made quite a good bit of progress. It is getting quite difficult now to pick up like an even application on the stipple brush that I use to apply this. So my goal like right now after I film this is to like repress this. I will take a picture of it once I repress it. That way we can have something to compare it to for next update. Hopefully what we'll have is an empty pan. I'm not mad at this palette. I really like this. The formula has not changed. This is hitting the 2-year mark come July, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it still performs beautifully, and the shade Crisp is such a nice color for like this time of year. It's like a pinky color with like a golden shift to it. So I really have been enjoying it. I'm going to be kind of sad when this is finished off, but I'll also be really like excited. This will be like my first face palette, or like any palette that I completely pan and use up, so that'll be exciting. So the next one we have is our CYO Bronzer. It's the radiant one for fair to medium skin. This I had in Project Random Uses, and I used it the random number of times I was supposed to, and then I like put it away and wasn't touching it. So I wanted to bring it into this. If I'm not mistaken, when we rolled it in, it had like the tiniest little pinpoint of pan in it. And so now you can see we have definitely widened that. I think that, you know, for me at least, once I tend to get like even the littlest speck of pan in a product, it just tends to go so much like faster with consistent use. So that pan has really expanded. It isn't getting difficult to like pick up product with the brush that I use, but you can see I have really like used up quite a bit of the bronzer strip because that was in the center. So I have finished off one of these before in the past, and when it got to about this point, I repressed it all together and just, you know, put all three of the powders together, and it was fine. I was able to finish it off as like an all over face setting powder. So I think that might be what I do with this. I haven't fully yet decided if I want to try to widen the pan just a little bit more before doing that. But of course, much like with the cream blush, I will take pictures if I do end up repressing this so that we can compare it. But yeah, I am really happy to be working on this, hopefully to get it finished off come Halloween. Okay, so the last like resurrection item that we were working on is a Franken Eye Shadow that I have. Again, I worked on this in Partners in Cream last year. So this is actually a Stila Glitter and Glow shadow in the shade Kitten Karma. Mine dried out, so I scraped it out, added a little bit of like loose pigment. It was a ColourPop loose shadow in the shade Red Zone. Put that in there and some other things to make it creamy. And so I really want this gone. There's nothing wrong with it. It's quite beautiful. I swatched it out in the introduction video, but I want it gone. You know, it's one of those things where like I've just looked at it for so long where I'm like, I'm ready to be done with you. So this is what it is currently looking like. It's really hard to gauge how much longer this is going to take because since this is like a DIY product, I didn't weigh it or anything like that, and we're really just going off pictures, but it's really such a malleable product. It's just, you know, it's kind of, in my opinion, not really fun to see the updates for it because it is so hard to track progress. I don't know how much longer it will take. Like I said, I try to use this pretty consistently. If I am working with like a shimmer shadow, much like the Lorac shadows from like the Mega Pro palettes where they're not as impactful, I can put this down as like a sticky base and then put one of those shadows on top and really make it pop. It's very pretty. This of course wears nicely on its own as well, but I've just been feeling more like colorful looks rather than neutral looks, and this does lean very neutral. So if I try to use this as a sticky base with like a more impactful performing shimmer, like think like the Juvia's Place eyeshadows, then it gets like cakey on my lids. So that's really deterred some of my usage on this, but I think I've used it like a good amount of times this month, or this past like 2 months, I guess, because the intro went up in April. So, but yeah, we will just keep chucking away on this product. Okay, so that wrapped it up for our resurrection items. So now we will talk about our cobwebs items. So the first one is from CYO. It is a CYO foundation. I put in my CYO products because I'm sure you guys know I've been a broken record, but they're no longer a thing, and I know that I would just like hoard their stuff. So I have their Lifeproof Foundation, which is like my all-time favorite foundation. So I'm really upset that this is gone. But here we are, I'm gonna enjoy it and work on it. And I have actually found two very comparable drugstore foundations in my opinion. If you're curious, it's the CoverGirl Outlast 3-in-1 foundation and the NYX Born to Glow. I think those are beautifully, they wear pretty similarly to this, and so I'm happy to have that. But anyway, enough rambling. Here is where we started, this little purple mark down here. Now you're gonna see another purple line right here. At first, when I was using this, I started to mark it with every 5 uses just to kind of keep up motivation, since there's, you know, the updates for this are every other month. But then I just lost track of it and didn't decide to. So this line right here is currently where we were at, or are at. So ignore this like little second one. We're not going to do that every 5 times. But here's where we started. Here's where we are. I feel like I've used up almost half of this. Again, I haven't worn it like every day. I've worn it pretty consistently. I've been like working on a few other foundations. Like I'm just trying really hard to rotate through my collection this year, as well as finish items off, especially like cream based products like this. So do you ever tune yourself out while you're talking? Because I do that quite often. All right, our next one is the lotion that we rolled in. This was definitely collecting cobwebs. I think this lotion is like 2 years old. It's from Vaseline. It's their Intensive Care Essential Healing Lotion. I really like my scented lotions, and there's nothing wrong with this. Like, this is great. It's perfect for this time of year. It's on the thinner side, so it sinks in nicely to my skin. Because, like, right now, with it being so hot, body creams are just too thick for my skin. So, anyway, I think it was Jessica Lee had the great idea to add, like, a perfume oil to this to help scent it. I didn't end up doing that because the cap of this, I had, like, a really hard time trying to pop this off, and so I wasn't able to like add any like scented things to it. But I did think that was a great idea and wanted to pass that along to you guys in case you're working on an unscented lotion and it's hard for you. So, like with the CYO foundation, I did actually end up marking this one every 5 times because that helped give me motivation to use it, to be able to make that new mark. It was like, okay, I can use this, I can use this. So we started up here when we brought it in. It had a little bit of use on it. So this was intro, 5, 10, 15. All the way down here is 20, and we finished it off. I think it took 27 uses in total to finish this bottle off, and I'm really just proud that I did that. I have another bottle of this, the exact same thing. Don't ask me why. But I got in such like a routine with this, so I have pulled out that second bottle and been using it, and I hope to finish that one off by like August, September. That would be great, and then I would be down 2 lotions that I don't really like. So, but yeah, and empty. Okay, so then our last item to talk about for collecting cobwebs is a face palette. This is the Blushing in Bali palette from BH Cosmetics. So I don't know if I took a picture of this or anything. I probably didn't, and for that I apologize. But what I will leave for you on the screen is just how many times I used it. But in the description box, I will leave like a total breakdown of how many times I used each individual pan. So the goal was to use this 30 times. So that meant, you know, if for one look I dipped into this coral blush and the glisten highlighter, that was 2 uses. So I have hit my goal on this. I think I used it 32-ish times if I'm not mistaken. But I'm happy to report to you guys, I ended up hitting pan in the highlighter here. And then I'm so close, I feel like, to pan in this blush. So I might keep this palette out on my vanity for just a little bit longer and see if I can hit pan in this blush, because it would just be exciting. It would make my blush collection look a lot more used. These BH pans, you can see I have finished off one of the blushes in here. I don't know if you can tell, they look like they're a pretty big sized pan, but then they're actually not all that deep. So it's been quite easy, I guess, to like hit pan on these, especially if you tend to focus your brush. So I want to try to keep it like, oh, I rolled 2 items out of the collecting cobwebs category, so we're going to roll 2 items into that category and just leave the resurrection category as it is. Now, if I finish something off from the resurrection category, then I'll roll something in to replace it in that, if that makes sense. Like, I like having the even split. So the first thing for collecting cobwebs, this was gifted to me from Kaylee. I've accidentally shaken it up. So you're just gonna have to trust my mark on this. This is the Cover Effects, but it's the glitter drops, not like the custom enhancer drops. So this is super glittery. It's really pretty. I do enjoy this. It's not something that I like mix into my primer or my foundation. My plan is to mix this in with like a lotion, especially for this time of year. It's summertime, like we all want to be glowy and pretty. This does have like little flecks of glitter in it. It's just going to be really fun as like a body highlighter. So let me screw the cap back on here and show you guys. We're about right here with how much product. Again, I had it shaken up, so it's not settled like it was, but that's where we're at. So the goal will be to finish this off. I am really excited. Like, I just can't wait to glow in the summer. Okay, how rude. My battery died while I was in the midst of filming, so if the angle has changed or the lighting or anything like that, I apologize. But the final item that I would like to add in to my collecting cobwebs, this is depotted. This was part of the Natasha Denona Blush and Glow Diamond Powder Duo or something like that. I depotted it. So this is the highlighter side, the diamond powder. I will swatch this out for you. I don't know if on camera you can tell. There's a little bit of dip in here. I want to see how easy it is to just hit pan on this. Like, that's going to be my first goal for rolling this in. If it's super easy to hit pan on it, maybe I will change the goal to like finish it. I don't know. It's more of like a sheer highlighter. It layers so nicely on top of other things. Hopefully you can see it there. It's not as intensely silver as you would think. I'm going to build it up though just to make sure that you guys can see it on camera, but one layer is enough, and it is so pretty. Again, it layers so nicely with so many things, and I don't ever find it to be too terribly intense. So that's it. Let's not ramble. Let's just end it there. That is all of an update that I have for you guys. Like I said, please go and check everyone else out that is doing this, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.